Good morning and welcome to our Northeast Regional Preview and a conversation with Tom Ellison, Regional VP of Engineering and Operations for T-Mobile USA, and Saul Ziv, VP of Sales for Ericsson. Gentlemen, how are you doing this morning?
Very well, thank you.
Very well.
For those of us at Ericsson that don't know you very well, Tom, could you please introduce yourself and share your experience with the industry?
Sure. So I have been fortunate enough to be working with T-Mobile now for about 15 years, going right back to the early days of OmniPoint and VoiceStream. As a matter of fact, Saul and I kind of started the whole program way back when with OmniPoint, and so I've had the opportunity to work in New York and in the Midwest and in our corporate office in Seattle for a number of years, and now back in the Northeast. Prior to that, I worked with a company I'm sure many of you know, Nortel, for 10 to 12 years. So I've been around the telecom industry for quite a while.
Well, thanks, Tom. That's going to be very useful as we start this modernization.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, I'm curious to know what both of your senses of anticipation are as we start this program.
You know, I would say I would characterize it as just plain excited. You know, we in the engineering ranks truly love getting our arms around big programs like this. You know, we did the UMTS program going back a couple of years, and that was exciting. You know, I believe our people are truly at their best when we've got major programs like this underway, and our folks tend to really shine when we get involved in projects such as this, and this will be no exception. And so I'm excited, looking forward to it. And Saul, I'm not sure.
Yeah, what I see actually is many people feel that here we go again, we're doing the same thing. Actually, I'm seeing this program is much more difficult than the one we have done in 2005, 6 or so, and 7, when we started the UMTS. The reason is that we are dealing with live equipment. We are working with live customer impact, and we all have to be understanding that can be really impact the future of T-Mobile unless we are very careful not to impact the users. And it's much bigger challenge to all the engineering, not just to us. The Tom groups and us need to work very, very closely to make sure that no impact on the customer.
Speaking of past programs, what do you guys see as areas where Ericsson can improve going forward, based on that past experience, as well as areas that Ericsson is performing well?
So I think in going through the UMTS program over the last couple of years, we've really refined how we work together. I think we better understand, I think, where each group has a forte, where they are you know, better prepped to really get things done. I think that Ericsson has, you know, on the strength side, Ericsson has always provided a high quality product. Ericsson has met schedules all the time. They will do whatever it takes to meet schedules, and I think that's really important that we can count on that. And I think that the overall quality of the product and the program to me has always been very good. We've got a terrific relationship, and I think we continue to refine that as we move forward. I think opportunities for improvement, probably on both sides, just communication. You know, I think altogether too often we get going and we're kind of in our silos, and we see, I think, bigger opportunity to make sure that we're all on the same page and communicating more effectively. One area that Saul and I have talked a tremendous amount about is escalation, making sure that when there are issues, that the issues get bubbled up fast. In a program like this, we really don't have time for an issue to sit and percolate for days, weeks, months. We've got to resolve these things fast, and so our ability to communicate and escalate issues, I think, is really important. One of the other areas that I think Ericsson really is going to be challenged this time is just in having the flexibility to really look at the program and you know, having people that can go to these sites and look at these sites as not, you know, a widget, but a custom site where it's not the exact same thing every time. So I think having that flexibility to get people to those sites and figure out what needs to be done, I think will be really important.
Yeah. A couple things just to add to that. We learned quickly that none of us, we as a vendor or T-Mobile by himself, can do it by himself. We have to do it together. And I think there are a lot of items that we can do better, and there are a lot of items that T-Mobile will do better, and we need to be able to do the speeds we are looking for in this program. We have to divide the pie in those cases. And I want to emphasize what Tom is saying, because the contract will be written in a way of you choose number 1, 2, 3 option, and we go ahead. Just looking in few sites we have today looked at, they are different than any of those options, and during the deployment we will have to be flexible enough to be able to adapt the contract to the real life and not start arguing if it's part of the contract or not, so move it forward with some modification to the program.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and I think altogether too often the folks who do the contracts on these things look at these like we've got 12,000 widgets and we're going to do the same thing, and the reality of it is that we've got 12,000 custom sites, and so every site's just a little bit different, a little bit unique. It'll require that the capability of people to get there and recognize what has to change, what we need to do, and sort of how to modify based upon the site itself. And so in the past, I know that's been somewhat challenging for Ericsson. They like to certainly have a standard scope of work, and we see as we get further and further into network development that these things just aren't all one size fits all. So I think that'll be a big area of focus for us.
Right, right. Well, understanding the need for customization, do you guys anticipate that Ericsson will be able to meet those demands?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. We've got, the relationship with Ericsson as a partner has evolved, and I think the UMTS program is a perfect example where, a little bit rocky out of the gates, and I think changes were made as they needed to be. And I think the collaboration between Ericsson and T-Mobile and the partnership and the communication has absolutely improved. I think UMTS was a huge learning experience for both T-Mobile and for Ericsson. I think one of the things that has come out of it is I think we both understand where the forte, our fortes are, and I think in many cases we've tried to put the round peg in the square hole, and I think now we've got a lot better alignment as to what each group does well.
Yeah, we talk about the UMTS. If you look backward on what UMTS, it was a big deployment, maybe the biggest deployment with a short period of time that we have done, and we did succeed in the end. But we had a lot of wacky and argument in the beginning, and not really looking into cooperation instead of working. We did work in a silo in the beginning, and I think that's behind us. This program right now is even more challenging. In the first 2 quarters, we will have to deploy over 1,200 sites, in 1,200 sites nationwide, of course, and 7,600 here in the Northeast. This is much more challenging than what we have done in the first round. So what we have done in the first round is only one small milestone compared to what we are doing here.
Yeah, I mean, even to reinforce that, I think UMTS was in some ways easier than this because it was pretty much adding an adjunct network to what we're doing.
Right.
This is really trying to upgrade a network and maintain customer satisfaction and have the least impact on customers. Churn continues to be an issue at T-Mobile, an absolute issue. And it doesn't do us a tremendous amount of good if we get a brand new network out there and don't have any customers left to use it. So we absolutely got to be on top of that.
Very true. Well, you guys have already started speaking a little bit about the upcoming program and some issues that you see within your own companies. How about we talk about top objectives for this program?
Sure. I mean, Saul mentioned, I think we've got about 8,000 sites in the Northeast that we're going to modernize, and so very straightforward goal. Our goal certainly in this year is to get that complete. When we look at sort of the 3 stools here, it's modernization, it's U1900, and then LTE. So, that's the big goal that's in front of us right there. In many of our markets, we're eliminating Nortel, an older vendor, and we're excited about that. We're excited to have the efficiency of having an Ericsson product line in front of us, and the gains that we get from that in reliability and performance. And so we're looking forward to that. I think the big thing here is the adjunct to this program is just how do we do this and maintain customer satisfaction, the least impact to the network. While we've got this daunting figure in front of us, the fact of the matter is that our performance objectives are still there, our churn objectives are still there, and so we're not getting any break from those. And so we've got to do all of this with the concept that we want to minimize the customer impact and minimize churn based upon it. So in our world, it's straightforward. We've got the modernization program with about 8,000 sites, and we maintain our performance and our churn and those things that support that.
Yeah, so the only thing I can add to that is because the challenge of the 7,000 or 8,000 sites during this year, we may lose focus on the impact of the customer. We all have to understand that there is customer impact to that, and in the end we are doing all this modernization to have T-Mobile successful, and by not having impact on the customer, that will be the first step to making T-Mobile successful.
Well, you guys have also already been touching upon these key risks, primarily impact to the customer. Can we speak a little bit more about that?
You know, I think that is really what it comes down to is we tend to get very focused on the end game, the end deliverable, and the further we get into the programs, the more difficult it becomes to ensure that you're meeting those things. And I think the biggest risk that I see is our overall impact to the customer. And so everything we have to do has to be with the eye to how do we minimize that impact. I commented churn is an issue in T-Mobile. It's an issue with all wireless carriers, but we've got a significant issue of churn, and this certainly has the opportunity to be a very negative experience from a customer perspective. So we've got to minimize that.
Should I add a couple? Of course,
Sure.
This is the main risk. But we have, looking in the program, there will be a lot of pressure on both organizations of getting the number and minimize the impact or eliminate the impact. And I think one of the risks we will be, and we have to put it in mind now that we are calm, that we will not have a finger pointing, we will have a solving solution, solving situation at a time, and not having the obstacle of us against them, which we saw in the first program. We are working together here, and the flexibility is key to success here.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to bring everything together at this point. What are both of your key expectations for this modernization, both from the individual company standpoint and the working relationship?
So I'm excited. I will tell you that Ericsson and T-Mobile have worked together for a long time. I think that the relationship we have now is better than it's ever been. I'm extremely confident going to this program that we've got the right people in the right positions. I'm extremely confident that we've got a strong partnership with Ericsson. My expectations are just that Ericsson looks at this as it's their network and their customers, and that they are, we're providing a quality product. That the end game, the end product is something that we're all proud of, that performs as good or better than expectation. Again, I think that the big expectation I have is just that we've got that flexibility that Saul talked about and I talked about before, to ensure that we do collaborate effectively. And I think that based upon the previous programs that we've got, I see that as a huge benefit, as a huge opportunity for us. And again, I see right now, I think we're poised to do an exceptional job.
Yeah. So one of the learning from the past is that we got the best team today. There's never been a better team before, especially in front of us. This big challenge. We have the best people, and I know we're going to make it. I was talking with Tom about customer satisfaction, and I told him in Q3 he will hate me because we're going to push each other to the limit. But Q4 he will love me actually and hug me because we're going to get the goals. We're going to make it happen. It will be up and down. We all have to expect that. But as long as we all focusing on the end result and focusing on minimum impact of the customer, T-Mobile will be successful and we will be successful.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. There's no doubt there's going to be bumps in the road, and I think the true hallmark of a great relationship, of a great partnership, is that when we see an issue, we identify it and resolve it immediately. Right? It's in the past there's certainly been issues where we've been slow to make changes, and I think in a program like this, we've got to leverage the relationship that we've got, the strong relationship that we've got with Ericsson, the partnership. We've got to recognize when things aren't working correctly, and we've got to do something about it. And we just don't have the luxury of waiting, weeks to do that. And so I think we need to be nimble, and it goes back to that effective communication and collaboration.
Well, thank you both for taking this time to speak with us on what will undoubtedly be an exciting and challenging year ahead.
Once again, before you finish, I would like to thank Tom for the business and the opportunity to prove ourselves again.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.